Okay, and welcome back to another edition of Juice Guru Radio. I'm your host, Steve. It's so great to be with you. We're back for another season, and we've got some great guests coming your way. Starting today, we've got Misty Angelique. She's going to be on the show sharing her adventures in entrepreneurship and getting the juice and message out in the world and other amazing things. So stay tuned. We're coming up right now with Misty Angelique. Well, welcome back to the show. I'm Steve Prusek. Again, it's great to be with you. We've got Misty Angelique here. She's a wife, mother of four, a daughter, entrepreneur, marketer, cosmetologist, author, public speaker, and devoted woman of faith. She enjoys spending her days sharing her life's passion, and that's empowering women. We're going to hear all about her brand, Authentically Branded Solutions, also known as, well, we say hashtag the AB way. Welcome to the show right now, Misty Angelique. Well, that's a mouthful.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that.
You're not too busy, are you?
Oh, no, not at all. I have more room on my plate for more.
You got a lot going on. So take us back. What brought you down the entrepreneurial path? Let's hear a little more about your story now.
Well, okay. So I guess I'm a proven witness that when you just take one step forward, things just start to evolve, right? So when I was in middle school, my mother actually took me to a hair salon. And because of my multicultural background, I have curly hair. My mom has fine, straight hair. And we left the salon with her being happy and me looking like a lion. And what happened was they just wasn't as savvy with curly hair. And I was in that chair and I said, you know what? I want to go into the beauty industry. And from there led me going into the beauty industry, becoming a licensed cosmetologist. From there, my goal as being a stylist where I heard issues from women. And so my slogan within my beauty brand was beauty beyond the bottle. But I never thought in a million years that I would be the first participant to understand what does cultivating inner beauty really means until I went through health struggles myself. So that's what started the entrepreneur journey.
Okay, yeah. So take us back. What were some of those health struggles and challenges along the way?
Well, in 2016, I suffered severely physically, and the doctors considered me a mystery case. I was hospitalized 6 different times. They didn't understand what was wrong, yet something was wrong. So they diagnosed me with all these autoimmune issues. And then they wanted to send me home on some medicines and pharmaceuticals that only was dealing with symptoms and not the root cause. It was then I said, that was it, put my foot down, Steve, and I said, I need to get to the bottom of what's going on. From there, that's when the whole world of juicing opened up for me. I went to see holistic doctors. I suffered severely, as now what I know, it was candida. I had pathogens, I had parasites, and my insides was just going crazy. And so the beautiful world of juicing was introduced to me and I ran with it.
Well, so those changes internally made you realize you wanted to incorporate it into the work you're doing?
Definitely. So while I was figuring out the whole world of juicing, I realized with consulting with those that are in the beauty industry, there are 4 things that women are always plagued with. There's either our health issues, there's a relationship issue, there's a finance issue that ultimately affects our business. And so what I like to do now is take women on a journey where we deal with all of those 4 pillars that somehow or another impacts our business. And so I said, well, because I suffered with health, I had to pause with business. And because I had to pause with business, I don't ever want anyone to ever have to go through this. And so now I incorporate juicing into a lot of my consulting courses so we can deal with the health and well-being first, so we can soar as business women.
Wow. So it's a real holistic model. And again, it's called AB, what do we call it? The AB way? Is that the best?
Yes. AB way originated from, it started with the hair care line. It was authentically branded. Okay. And so we started with authentically branded with hair care and skin care. And now we have herbal supplements. And so now, as a result of my personal struggle, we've incorporated the AB way, where we deal with authentically becoming, authentic body, authentic business, and then authentic bonding that deals with relationships. Again, those 4 areas that women somehow or another find as a stumbling block along the way.
Yeah, I love it. And obviously you're a beacon of health and you shine. So I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that really helps in when we're building our business, that we're
Yes.
the, what we call the attractive character, the charismatic face of the business. So has that been important to you to get yourself out there in that way?
Well, I think it's very important. Me coming from a background, especially in faith, I'm really big in faith. And I think that in order to really be about what it is that we're representing and really get people to understand the root cause and or have them jump on board, is that we really have to represent that. And by me representing that when it comes to health and vibrant, like I represented being sick and everything else, right? And so because of that, no life comes from that. And so I represent now what it means to like take health and wellness and run with that. And almost like your life depends on that. And that's my mission, to change the world.
Awesome. And it's also about sharing your struggles along the way. And
Yes.
with that, with health and with the entrepreneurial journey too. So what about that? What about the entrepreneurial journey? Because, this path is not for the lighthearted. It's the roller coaster of building or climbing.
Yes.
What kind of challenges has there been in building your business along the way?
You know what I would say to that, Steve? Like I kind of coined this phase, right? Entrepreneurship, some people think is really daunting, and it is. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. However, I like to coin the phrase authentic-preneurship. And when you really tap into who it is that you are, what it is that you're supposed to deliver to the world in a big way, you really are free to be yourself. So this is why even early on, like when my years behind the chair in the beauty industry started, there was always a desire for me to be myself, right? Because it's easy to be yourself. It takes more work to be something or somebody. Yes. And so because of that, the challenges that I ran into when it comes to quote unquote entrepreneurship was, I wouldn't even say it's a challenge. I would say it was a stretching to become more free to be me. And so that's why I preach the message of authenticity, because when you tap into who you are authentically, everything with business is just one step, and then the doors just continue to open and open and open because you're free to be yourself and share your message to make an impact along the way.
Well, that's a great lesson right there. And they'll look at, Babette Davis has over 1 million followers. How can I be more like Babette? Or, I was guilty of that early in my entrepreneur 10 years ago. And I'm like, well, how do I, reach more people? Do I have to be? And we could start to take on other voices.
Absolutely.
And that is more work.
Definitely more work, because then you're putting more work in to try to be something that you're not. Instead of, people connect with real, right? And so because they connect with real, that's the impact I want to make. And in order to make that impact, I have to be vulnerable enough, which is what authenticity is. I have to be vulnerable enough to share my story, not just the highlights, but the low points too. So when I go and I post stories about my health, I really, really want women to find themselves somewhere along my journey, because I guarantee that if everybody did that, we can just give nuggets back to one another to help how we overcame what we went through.
I love it. And that's just such a great lesson for our listeners to learn, and something that some of us wish we had early on.
Yes, for sure.
Because really, when it comes down to the entrepreneurial journey and the work we're doing, it doesn't matter how many followers you have.
Oh my gosh.
To have a massive impact.
That's it. See, followers, likes is it's a vanity metrics. That's what that is. And for so long, we get caught up into that. I would literally take 12 and have that 12 multiply, then I can care less about the numbers. But Steve, you're right. Like to me, it's about impact. And impact equates numbers.
And it's an illusion, because some of the biggest influencers pay for their likes. It's sort of a sickness. So we don't have to go down that path, because we're talking about wellness. We're talking about health. We're talking about internal and external. Beauty. We've got Misty Angelique here. She's with Authentically Branded Solutions. She's on Juice Guru Radio. She's kicking off the season, and I'm really excited to have her here on the show. And actually, she's one of our members of Juice Guru Institute too. How did you come to us? I'd love to hear
You know,
well,
you
how
know,
we came into your life.
I love, it was so divine. And I love this question because what I came to you because I was on the hunt to really find a holistic approach of healing, right? And so because I really wanted to heal my body, I was really Googling and researching now because I do a lot of marketing within one of my business models as well. Your ads followed me, Steve, and they follow me. So because I was doing
okay, so the marketing's working over here. All right.
Your marketing is working that way, let me tell you, okay? So I was doing research and I was doing my own concoctions, even leading my own community with what was working at the time. But then I said, you know, something is off. And at that time I came across your ads and I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna run with this. And when I came across your beautifully structured process and it was just user-friendly, and I said, you know, I'm gonna jump in. And I did. And from there, I didn't really do it, to be honest with you, Steve, for a certification to teach others. To be honest with you, I really did it for me, right? And while doing it for me, along the way, this is why, FYI, you remember I was the one who completed your course. I think it's record time. You commented on my course.
Is that what was it? How long did it take you?
Oh, it took me not a week's time.
What?
And listen, I dived into it every single day. It was a week, all day.
Yeah, it's 5 weeks is the average, so that's pretty amazing.
I'm telling you, every day, all day, I studied. I read that like the Bible. It was like my Bible for health. And you have phenomenal information in there. The guest speakers, I mean, the godfather of the juicing world. It's just a plethora of like information that just took me on a journey, and I stayed there for that whole week. And so from there, I started applying right away. And then it just, at that point, this is history.
And then, but you've got the credentials now. You obviously, and then you've got the tools we gave you in Mastery. Have you started to dive into that and how you can, you know, run your own programs, the done for you programs, and and work with clients?
Definitely. So what I've done was the tools that you have in there. It's easily for anyone to just set those things up and run.
By the way, we're not doing an infomercial for Juice Guru Institute. I don't want you to feel like, well, you know, I just want you to authentic.
Oh, no. I want to really bring people into this world, because for me, I have a marketing background. So I understand how to create everything, the landing pages and all of that. But for someone who really wants to make a business model out of this, that's starting off, you make it so simple, so plain. The steps are laid out. They can even customize it according to their voice, their brand, their message, and it's beautiful. As for me, I took those nuggets and I just applied it to a lot of my current business models. And that way it's just an easy fit that really talks about the authentic body, and a lot of courses that I have online helping professional women. So your layout just complemented mine, if that's okay. And at that point,
but now that you're a certified juice therapist, you're incorporating this in. What have you done so far? Have you, people do a lot of different things in this realm. They'll write books, they'll run retreats, they'll work one-on-one or in small group, or run their own cleanses, or whatever it is. What have you done, or have you done anything yet? Because I mean, you've just graduated this year.
Yes, that's a great question. So, Steve, I am still in the wilderness. So let me explain what the wilderness experience is. When I came across your program, I was still healing. And because this has now been, at the time of this recording, I'm 8 months in, and I've done 2 juice cleanses since I've become a Juice Guru certification participant. And so now I had to take this time in my life very serious, because the goals that I have in 2020, 2022, I am off and running. Again, because I have a beauty brand and a lot of consulting services and I do marketing, I haven't been as involved in social in the last 6 to 8 months, only because I've been healing. So I've been through numerous healing crises. I understand what the healing crises mean. And I really took this time to apply, to build all the curriculum that we're speaking about right now. And then I have a goal to launch that at the end of the year, going into 2022. My book will also launch. I'm working with a publishing company as we speak. It's in the second editing process, and it will launch in the first quarter of 2022 as well. We're looking at February, March. I wanted January, but I think that was me being overly ambitious. But yes, I will be launching all of what we're speaking about next year.
Wow, that is amazing. And you're balancing, the 4 kids, right?
Yes, yes.
The
Adults.
businesses, and you've got the book, and now, wow, it's a little overwhelming, but whoo. But if we hone it all in, and you're starting with the healing of your own temple, then that's really the place to start, isn't it?
Yes, and that to me is the most valuable, precious gift that we all have. And sometimes we can get just so busy with our day-to-day life that we forget what really matters. And that's why I took this time, having a life of serving many. I love serving, but this was the time that I really felt, I'm a believer, big in faith, and I really felt this was my time to really get back on track and do what I need to do.
So really the role of juicing in your life right now is that you've done a couple of cleanses and you're incorporating this in. And what changes have you noticed since, enhancing your life with the magic of juice?
Oh, wow. So I can say this being a beauty brand owner, right? Because a lot of times we'll focus on products that deals with everything outwardly. But for me, now everything switched. Remember our motto, and our slogan is beauty beyond the bottle. So we focus on inner beauty. What happened was my digestive issues are gone. I don't suffer with those at all. I also used to wear, and I still do just for different recordings and things with makeup. My skin has become like absolutely flawless. My nails, phenomenal. My hair, wonderful. It's just so many benefits. And I have my staples, right? I have that apple, carrot, beet, and then I have that pineapple, orange juice, grapefruit. So I have all of this vitamin C, and I really focused on my issues at that time, and I made my own concoctions. And I have my pillars where I have my greens, and then I have those that focus on hair, skin, and nails. But I can tell you that there's such a radiance when it comes to juicing. Like you feel alive putting all of those alive foods into your body.
And so we've talked about what juicing was done for you. We talked about the business. We talked about the journey you're on. And what I was thinking about was the idea that even though, we're never at the finish line, I have achieved the ultimate health and now I am the prophet. You can take your audience on the journey with you, on this healing journey, and it makes you even more attractive as a character, because it's like, well, all right, Misty's just like me. And have you used that in your messaging and branding and journey? Because it really is all in one. There's no finish line. Someone might say, oh, I still have a few pounds to lose, or I'm not the ultimate health. Who am I to speak? Can you speak to that as a leader now? Because you are a leader in the Juice Revolution, and thank you for that.
Oh, no, thank you for providing this way out to be that solution. I really appreciate that. So yes, I have to say that juicing has become a part of my everyday living. And no, I would never say I'm at the end of my journey. I'm just beginning. Like just beginning with the knowledge, the education, the implementation of everything that we're looking to do. When it comes to implementing what I want to do, I juice, Steve, every single day. 90% of my diet is raw. I juice that little 10% because it's a lot going on. Sometimes I may steam or do something else, vegetables. I 90% cut out all of animal products, cut out dairy, anything that causes any inflammation in the body. I'm just beginning this. I feel like it is a new beginning. So to bring people on this journey, I'll never ever, I want to be wise and also gentle. But at the same time, just letting people know as a result of bad habits, unhealthy habits, and what that can lead over the years and what it does to your body. I'm just taking people on this journey with me. So yes, I would definitely pull my audience into this because this is a major pillar in my life and I'll never go back to what was. Ever.
This is going to open up new doors for you, but I'm sure like when you first found us, there were maybe some fears about, should I sign up? Should I make this investment? What were some of the things that were holding you back?
Oh, I'll tell you what the biggest fear was for sure.
Was
So
it Steve Prusak or, tell me.
No, you're good. I didn't read all the writing on the bathroom wall. Trust me, you're good on that one. Let me tell you what it was. Because I had candida overgrowth, and for those that don't know what candida is, that is what we all have in our gut, and it works, but it doesn't work as well when it's like overgrown and it's like systematic. Like that's what was going on. It was systemic at that point for me. And traditional medicine said no fruits, no fruits, no fruits, stay away from fruits. Well, when I just went a little deeper in my research, I realized that that is not the case. Fruits actually is one of the best detoxification things that you could ever do. My biggest fear, Steve, was, oh my gosh, that's so much sugar. I don't know if I want to put that much in my body. And I can tell you that in your juicing certification program, I understood the importance of detoxing with fruit and rebuilding with vegetables. And now I'm telling you, like, I can't get enough of fruits. Like, and I have no adverse effects. Actually, I feel better. And I'll add this too. Because I cut fruits out of my diet the first 2 years of my health crisis, my body was depleted of a lot of things that I needed, where I actually went to get some vitamin injections because I was depleted in certain things. And now my blood work is perfect and I feel it in my energy level. So that was my biggest fear. It was consuming too much fruit because of the myth behind sugars and fruit.
So really you did come out the other end transformed in a lot of different ways.
Totally.
That's exciting. And so let's talk a little more about the future plans of where, the big vision of where you want to take all this. What you don't have to say the goal, but
yeah,
what's the ideal, the vision board, the thing we're going to put out into the universe right now and say, God, this is where, Misty Angelique is going with all this. What's the vision?
Well, I can tell you this, there are some times and seasons in our lives where the vision is a little bit fuzzy. That is not the case for me now. This whole fasting journey has made things extremely clear. Again, I didn't understand the importance of my message until I had to be the forerunner to deliver this message to the world. So my vision of what I see that's extremely clear, I've already built out. So I have an ABI, it's Authentic Balance Institute, okay? So I am having a whole online course that deals with the holistic approach with us as women. And again, it's those 4 pillars that I talk about constantly when it comes to our body, our health, our relationship, and our businesses. And so at the end of all of that, what I'm going to do, and I'm proclaiming this on the Juice Guru Institute podcast, is that at the end of all of this, that I want people transform authentically in such a big way that their whole life is going to be transformed, because I understand the power in authenticity. Authenticity is our legacy, and you cannot deal with one part of the body or the mind or the soul and the spirit without dealing with all of them, because that comprises of our total existence.
I love it. And, and one of those first things people are going to need to do is the soul searching to find out, who am I really?
Yes.
Behind the onion, get to the heart of it, right?
Yes. And that's one of the things that I'm important, I make important as a pillar, Steve, because if you don't know who you are, this is where Dr. Miles Monroe, I love, he used this analogy. And if you don't know who you are, you will abuse it. And unfortunately, we've abused a lot. We've abused our mind, we've abused our soul, we've abused our body, we've abused so much because we didn't understand who we are. When you tap into that level of clarity that juicing provides, and that's just one aspect. I can have just one book on what juicing does,
right?
And with you spiritually speaking, and then just connecting to who you are. But that's so important. And we start off identifying what that is and what we're supposed to do, and how do they cultivate that to figure out what their purpose is.
And is that book you're working on, is that going to be on the 4 pillars or?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the book that I'm working on.
It seems like each pillar can be a book too, like
yes.
What do they call that? Not a trilogy, but a series or whatever.
Series. Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because my editor said that, because I'm like, oh, I want to do this. I want to. And she said, Missy, trust me. No, hold up. You don't need to do that, because all of these can turn it. I'm like, okay. But that book is to really tap into where they are right now. Steve.
That's right.
I know that I will be used to push people in that right direction. But at the end of that, they have to be their own guru. That's our job.
That's right.
Plant that seed, and they have to do the work.
And that you have to realize, all of us, that we speak to one thing, because you have so many things you can help them with to overcome and evolve. But it's you have to use one thing in your marketing and your message. You know that as a marketer, right?
Yes, definitely.
So, is the one thing authenticity? Is that the hook we can say?
Oh, definitely. It's there's no doubt about it's authenticity, and that's a course just by itself. Because once you tap into that, then all the other realms start opening up.
I love it. It's unique. It's different, and you are the one to lead the way on that.
Thank you.
Let me ask you, how do our listeners follow you and the great work you're doing? Are you on Instagram, or what's the best way?
So I am Misty Angelique on all social platforms. So they can find me at Misty Angelique. I also have a goodie to give away.
Okay. Yay. Okay. Let's do it.
A couple goodies. So they can go to habits.now.site. I also have a free ebook for them to download, because I feel that habits, if you can just get a hold of habits and just start consciously making them aware of what you used to do versus what you're trying to do, I think that by itself could change the nature of their life. So they can grab a free copy there, and then just find me on all social channels at Misty Angelique for any additional.
Thank you for coming to the table prepared with a opt-in gift. That's really smart. Because of course you guys are going to want to follow Misty. This is amazing. And we'll have the show notes up at juicegururadio.com, so you can find all the links and good stuff. We'll even have a link to the video so you can see her in her amazing, beautiful presence. What's your send-off message that you'd like to leave with our listeners, though? I mean, we've covered a lot here, and you've got me on fire, so I'm sure that's contagious. Everyone's feeling the vibe.
I appreciate
anything we didn't touch on, or anything else you want to share?
No, if there's anything that I would like for a send-off message, is that whatever's tugging at you, it's time. And so our bodies, they want to change. Our bodies are a beautiful message and a gift to the world. So just be gentle with yourself, and just know that it's not too late. So whatever's tugging at you, just be gentle with yourself. Patience, a lot of which is talked about in that habits book, and to show you exactly how to get started and where to go. So that's what I would like to leave with your listeners. She's Misty Angelique here on Juice Guru Radio, a certified juice therapist and amazing healer. Thank you for being on the show, Misty. It's been an honor. Thank you for having me, Steve. I appreciate it. I'm Steve Prusek, Juice Guru Radio. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.